Let's talk about a really powerful idea today. It's something that can meet you exactly where you are, especially in those moments when you feel like you've completely fallen off the map. It's all about being seen, even when you feel totally invisible.
And I mean, really think about it. You know that feeling? You're in a room full of people, maybe even people you love, and you just feel like a ghost, like you're not actually there.
Or maybe you've been overlooked. You pour your absolute heart and soul into something, a project, a friendship, a family thing, and then someone else gets all the credit. Oof, that sting is real.
And then there's that feeling of being left behind. It seems like everyone around you is hitting their milestones, new jobs, getting married, moving on, and you just feel kind of stuck watching it all from the sidelines.
When all those feelings start to pile up, this is the question that starts to whisper in the back of your mind, isn't it? It's quiet, but it's heavy. Does anyone even see what I'm going through?
Well, if any of that sounds familiar, you actually have a deep connection to an ancient story. A story about a woman who felt all of this, and honestly, probably so much more. Her name was Hagar.
So who was she? Well, Hagar wasn't the star of the show. She was a servant to Sarah. She was given to Abraham to have a child for them. But once she actually became pregnant, everything went sideways. The very people who should have protected her turned on her, and it got so bad, she had to run for her life.
You can just see how this spirals, right? First, she's used like an object. Then her pregnancy, instead of being a joy, just sparks jealousy and tension. That leads to mistreatment, and finally, she has no choice but to flee into the desert.
I mean, can you just put yourself there for a second? Alone, pregnant, out in the middle of nowhere, rejected by the only people she knew, completely and utterly abandoned?
And maybe that idea of a wilderness sounds a little familiar, because we all have our own wilderness seasons, don't we? Those times in our lives where we just feel totally lost, unwanted, and unseen.
But here's where the story takes a turn you wouldn't expect. Right there, at her absolute rock bottom, when she has nothing left, God shows up. Not in a big temple or to a huge crowd. He shows up for her, in her brokenness.
And this is so important. Hagar wasn't out there on some big spiritual journey. She was just trying to survive. She wasn't looking for God, but God was looking for her. He was actively searching for her in the middle of her pain.
The very first thing the angel of the Lord does is call her by name, Hagar. Just think about the power of that. To a woman who was treated like property, like she didn't matter, God looked at her and said, "I see you." And Hagar's response to this is, well, it's incredible. She does something no one else in the entire Bible does. She gives God a name. She calls him El Roi, which literally means the God who sees me. It came directly from her experience. Let that sink in for a second. It wasn't a king or a famous prophet. The one person who gives God a new name is a rejected, foreign, runaway servant girl. It just shows that God reveals this deeply personal part of his character to the person that society valued the least. It's amazing. And that's the bridge from her story straight to our lives. Her wilderness was a physical desert of rejection. Our wilderness might look like a season of loneliness, a dead-end job, a painful breakup. The setting is different, but that core feeling of being lost and unseen, it's exactly the same. And this is the game changer her story offers us. What if we reframed how we see those hard times? What if the wilderness isn't just about punishment? What if that place of rejection can actually become the place of divine connection? The very moment you feel most alone could be the moment you're most ready for an encounter you couldn't have had anywhere else. So what does it mean to be seen by El Roi? It means he doesn't just see the polished version of you we put on Instagram. He sees the real you. He sees your pain. He sees your private tears. He hears the questions you're too afraid to say out loud. He sees your whole story. So the takeaway from Hagar's story is this powerful promise, this deep encouragement. No matter how forgotten you feel, no matter how invisible or overlooked you are not forgotten. You are not invisible. So I just want to leave you with this one question to think about. Instead of seeing your current struggle as just a dead end, what if you saw it as a destination? Could it be that this difficult season, this wilderness you're in, is the exact place where you, just like Hagar, are meant to finally meet the God who sees you?